So, in the midst of all the corona craziness in the United States, and everywhere, of course, but I mean, especially, it's really ramping up here right now. Um, I wanted to just make a little update, having nothing to do with that, about the video I posted about a week ago about how I had decided that I was going to go with my heart on a situation with a friend of mine that I think is probably maybe the right person for me, but about whom I had been feeling very, like my rational mind had been saying no, for like a year. Even though when we're together, we have this it's just wonderful. We've just had some differences about relationships in general. Specifically the approach. I'm very traditional when it comes to relationships. I kind of have always felt like there's an order to things, and he's different about it. He kind of comes at it from another angle, and it just didn't work for me. And it made me suspicious, and it made me uncomfortable. And so I've just always felt like we can never get through that because he's never going to approach me traditionally. And I'm never going to be cool with like being, I don't want to say casual because that's not really what it is, but more of a casual approach to things. I can't think of a better way to put it. But so I've never been able to see how we get past that. And just, it seems by making this one decision that I was going to say, okay, even though I can't see how, I'm going to assume there is a way that works for both of us where I don't have to compromise my values, and he doesn't have to compromise his reasoning for his approach. I'm just going to go ahead and trust that there's a way. So far, it's been great. This was about a week ago, and I don't regret it at all. I kind of feel like I know how this ends up, even though I don't know how. And now that my head's on board with that, I just have felt different about things. I have felt there were some things I was holding back because I was looking at it as a friendship, like things that you wouldn't expect. Like I have different expectations. I have different requirements for how I will engage in a relationship with somebody, if it's just a friend versus if it's like a potential partner. Meaning I have more strength, like if we're just going to be friends, then I'm going to let a lot more slide than I would if, I'm essentially evaluating a person as a partner. And that's actually turned out to be a good thing in the last week, because there have been some ways that this friend and I related to each other that made me kind of uncomfortable because of how I felt in my heart versus, like kind of being treated like one of the guys in some ways that I really don't like. And I spoke up about that, and turned out okay. Didn't go poof and disappear. And we had a couple misunderstandings that were able to be resolved. I think maybe that wouldn't have even happened. I don't know. It's really hard to explain how this has played out, but it's been great. Like, it feels much healthier. It feels much more authentic. And we ended up spending a bunch of time together this weekend, and just in like a friend capacity still, but I don't know, I've made myself clear now, and it was also great. And something I've been thinking about this week is what it means sort of to not mess with the middle, because, one of the biggest things impeding any kind of forward motion with this was, of course, the fact that I had made this decision that it wasn't going to be romantic, no matter what. And so this week I've had to deal with feelings about, as things kind of started to feel good, my brain would keep saying, yeah, but what about this thing? What about this thing? What about the fact that we don't know, what about this? Like, sort of my brain prompting me to try to figure out, continue to figure this out. And every time, I'd start to kind of feel shitty about it and worry about it. And then all of a sudden I remember, like, I don't have to think about this. I can let divine intelligence take my end scene, my goal essentially, and create the path for me. I'll let divine intelligence figure this out. I'll let divine intelligence, set up the series of events that give me and this friend of mine the understanding of each other that we need to move forward to this eventual place where we're together and we're happy. And while I'm not at all banking on the end actually happening, because I just don't feel like, for me, that creates too much pressure. In reality transurfing and on this channel, I've brought up lowering importance, and how it just feels so much better when you don't feel like your happiness depends on a particular outcome. So while I'm going for this outcome, at the same time, I'm constantly reminding myself how unnecessary and unimportant this final outcome actually happening is. And somehow, in adopting that state of mind, it seems to just facilitate the motion, the events that lead to that thing. I don't know. It's this flow state that just feels awesome. And I had a great time with my friend this weekend. More than ever, it seems clear to me that we're just perfect for each other. We basically did married people things together all weekend, and it was perfect. So I'm still just allowing divine intelligence to do what it needs to do. I don't know. It's this really safe and supported feeling for me to be in the state of allowing myself to kind of be carried to that end place, with the faith that this feeling I have in my heart is being put there by, a connection to something that is outside of the physical senses, telling me to pay attention and telling me where I need to be going through a feeling. I don't know. It just feels awesome. And, since there's a lot of shitty stuff going on right now and a lot of negative places to direct attention, I just wanted to post this because in the midst of this, I'm feeling really good about the choice that I made to just allow things to happen, to just go with it, and to sort of connect to the future that I want in my mind, like Neville says, with your imaginal scene and planting the seed and just allowing myself to be guided there. It's really simple. It's really simple. And so I'm happy about that. And so I wanted to post this so that there's something good out there today in the midst of everybody getting the crappy plague. So stay safe. I hope everybody, is healthy. I hope you're healthy. And I'll have something good to post in the next couple days too. Just to put some positivity and a little ray of sunshine out there for everybody.